heart of Nigeria's thriving film industry, where stories spring to life through the camera's lens. An orchestra of sounds paints vivid portraits with every frame. Welcome to Sounds of Nollywood, a mesmerizing journey into the world of cinematic soundscapes. Across 5 gripping episodes, we extend an invitation to meet the virtuosos, the uncelebrated champions who painstakingly compose the layers of sound that infuse vitality into Nollywood's most cherished moments. Prepare to embark on a journey that unveils the concealed symphonies, the soul-stirring melodies, and the captivating rhythms that contribute to Nollywood's cinematic legacy. This is Sounds of Nollywood, where every note, every beat, and every sound narrates a story of its own. Strap in, for this is a sonic adventure like no other. Brought to you by We Talk Sound in collaboration with In Nollywood.
Hi, my name is Ava Momoh, and I'm a film composer. Oof. Oh, man. Okay, so about 20 years ago, I was producing artists and I was broke. Artists did not have money and everyone wanted to work with you and you say, Ava, when I blow, when I blow, things go pop. But things never popped and they did not blow. So I needed money and I knew that the people who make films, they have a budget. And that budget always had something for music. So an uncle of mine knew someone that worked in the movies. And then Surulere was the hub of all Nollywood. That's where everybody was. Kingsley Ogoro, Paulo Basile, Ememi Song, they were all there. It's not like today where you tweet at somebody. I just entered bus, went to Surulere. I got the addresses from the CD packets and I went there and I said, hey man, I want to work on your movie. Funny enough, that day I met Segun Arinze, who was very nice to me and told me to come back the next day to meet Kingsley Ogoro. But it was Emmanuel Ogogwa who gave me my first project. And, from there it popped off. So this is a short movie called Jane's Hotel. It's about a guy whose wife died. And basically he's talking to her ghost and he's getting closure. Is this the right file? Hold on. And he's getting closure and, telling her. How do I describe it? Music is, I would say, one of the most important parts of the movie because music is what triggers human emotion. If you're watching a movie without music, you are just taking in the pictures. But the music is what transfers the feeling that the director wants you to have from the screen to your ears. And ultimately, music is what tells you how to feel when you watch a movie.
You left me. After you were gone, I realized how much I needed you. Oh, I miss you. I miss us. What we had before it all went to shit.
I have to go, Sam. But they won't let me leave until we say goodbye.
Music is what drives the movie to a place that makes it memorable, to a place that makes you want to watch it again. Imagine Titanic without that flute. Imagine Inception without that Bram. People tend to overlook the job of music in film, but if you actually watch a movie without music, you realize how important it is. Music is everything.
And we can have a life there that we never had here.
I love you, Jane.
The biggest challenge at first was people not recognizing the importance of sound and music. Because if you actually go back to old school Nollywood, they just recorded, put the audio, edited it. They didn't do audio post-production. They didn't clean the dialogue. The only sound effects was maybe when there was a gunshot or something. Obviously as time went by, people started doing more and more and perfecting the craft. But it still didn't change the fact that a lot of directors and producers didn't respect the craft, didn't think it was important, didn't think it was necessary. Imagine you want to score a movie and, somebody is telling you to do it in 3 days. And I'm saying that because a popular film producer told me, Ava, why do you need 2 weeks to score my movie? Are you trying to win an Oscar? My regular guy does it in 3 days. I'm like, the regular guy doesn't score the movie. What he does is he just downloads music and then he just does music editing. It's not scoring. Music editing is when you just take a bunch of music and then you edit the music by cutting it and placing it where it's supposed to be. You're not scoring to picture. Scoring to picture is infinitely more tasking, requires a lot more energy. It's so much work to score a movie. It's so much work. I don't even know how to describe how much work it is. The process of creating sound for TV shows. You know, let me open Collision Course. That was on Netflix. And the intro scene is something anyone can watch. So there isn't a lot of melody or melodic stuff happening in this movie. It's gritty sounds because it's supposed to evoke fear. Every time I create music, I want it to sound different. I want it to sound new, which is one of the biggest challenges as a film composer. You want to keep it exciting, but it can't be exciting if you keep doing the same thing. So you have to try and figure out what you want in terms of the sonic palette for the show, how you want it to sound. Now, at this point, you meet with a director, you do what you call a spotting session, where they tell you which part of the movie needs music, what kind of music. Generally, I go by asking the director, what do you want the audience to feel? The kind of emotions he wants to evoke for every scene that needs music. And then the task of starting the music begins. It's an incredibly difficult task. It is incredibly slow. There's a standard in Hollywood that you write 2 minutes of music per day. That is not the standard in Nigeria. You need to write more music per day. You could have 10 minutes where you create music and it just pushes by, but you could have a scene that's 2 minutes and you spend 3 days, 4 days making music for a 2-minute scene, and you have to tweak it till it's just right. And then you might send it to the director, who usually they love it because you discussed and you know what he wants, or they hate it and you know, you have to redo it, or they make changes. So it is a slow and frustrating process. If you don't like it, you can't do it. If you're not passionate about it, you will quit.
It's just I don't even want to listen. Now, it's your choice. You can either waste through like this bastards over here floating, or you can buy your freedom. Luckily for you, my conscience is for sale.
It's actually one of my favorite animation projects that I worked on because it's got a lot of action and action is fun. And, you know, to be honest, one of the projects I could pull up quickly.
All I ever wanted was to make my land the utopian envy of all Abrku Empire. But the people turned against me and have stripped me of my title, Now, they see me as a pig, a ruthless and corrupt politician. I have sent out the inferior to bring me this impostor, so that he may answer to me why he is worthy of the Jagaban.
Animation is more fun because the things that would happen in animation you don't usually get to do in movies. Like Hero Call, an animation that I did, people are flying into buildings. There's explosions, you know, superheroes flying, punching each other in the sky.
Tactic match. Where is it supposed to be now?
Ah! My friends call me boxer. I'm the last thing you will see before I knock you.
Now this guy has really pissed me off.
Be careful, Kings.
You know, I don't know when that's going to happen in live action in Nollywood. So it's fun to do that for animation. You can score action to your heart's content in animation. You can't really do that with live action because it's limited. So in that regard, I love animation because you get to do what you can. So this is called an opening theme. You know, this is the theme of the superheroes. So you can see it sounds very heroic, very energetic. And, you know, that was That was the idea behind it, for it to evoke a lot of it's an action theme because they're superheroes. And you know, the superhero action theme is you have to have your brass, you have to have your heavy percussion, they have to be played fortissimo, and it has to hit loud. And so there's a lot of action in it, and in Nollywood we don't do a lot of action, so it's always fun to see action. Live action also has its advantages in the sense that, you know, it's more human, it's more personal, there are more intimate scenes. Enake and Jemeji, the two TV shows I did for Africa Magic, Jemeji was more traditional with like spiritual elements, and Enake was more mafia, corrupt political families and all that stuff. So, you know, the approach for the music obviously had to be different. In terms of Jemeji had a more traditional score. The score had more African drums, you know, African rhythms and stuff like that. But the score for Enake had to be more epic. You could even tell the difference in the intro music. So obviously the sonic palette differs in movies, which I was happy to work on because, like I said, you know, you don't want to do the same thing over and over again. Funny enough, I had a conversation with someone for an Africa Magic telenovela, and they were like, okay, what can you do? And I'm like, the budget determines what I can do, because I want to get live players. I want to get, you know, the instrumentalist. I want to get vocalists. And you get these guys, you want to get them in a space. You're going to have to book a studio session. You have to pay each of them individually, and their rates are not going to be cheap. So the budget allows us to do these things. So when people scream, oh, Hollywood movie, they have ridiculous budgets where, like in Chunky Excel, called somebody to make an instrument for 300. And I would like to call someone to make an instrument for a movie I'm scoring, but the budget restricts that. But then, like I said earlier, we are turning the corner. People are starting to appreciate what music is, what music does. Like the telenovela I mentioned, we eventually did get vocalists and we did get instrumentalists. You know, 10 years ago, that would have never happened. People were like, what are you doing? Just make my music and give me. This is just like a PSA. Nobody can blackball you. Do you get? So if you're doing film music and anybody says, oh, I need you to do my film in 3 days, and you say, I'm not doing it, and then they say, what's wrong with you? Why are you feeling? Yeah, they can't do anything to you, okay? Just move on. Don't do rubbish because people want to put you in a box and make you conform to their ridiculous timelines. Do I think film composers are given the recognition they deserve? That's a very good question. The answer is simply no, they are not. There are so many talented film composers working. So many talented. You have Truth, Michael Ogulade, you have Tolu Obanro, Kulanen, DJ Clem. Nobody gives them respect. I mean, yeah, they are respected for the people that, but you know, like if you look at a movie review, they hardly ever mention the score, especially when a lot of movies have really good scores. The only time I saw someone give a composer credit was an Indian guy doing a review of Jago Jago. And prior to that, I never heard anybody mention a composer, not in Nollywood. So Nollywood composers don't really get a lot of recognition. In movie premieres, nobody really wants to talk to the composer. I remember when I went for the Collision Course movie premiere and with Bolanle Austin Peters, nobody really cared that, oh, this was the composer. It's when she came that she was like, hey, this is the composer, talk to him. They were like, okay. Well, maybe I'm exaggerating, I didn't really say it like that, but that's how it felt. Like nobody really gives the composer credit. I like the fact that Nigerian movies are getting a little more acclaim, a little more worldwide acclaim. And this is good because essentially it's going to bring more money into the industry with more investments. There will be more investments in sound. South Africa, they have a bunch of Atmos studios, and here we have maybe like 2, maybe 3. One of the things that I really wanted was to have a scoring stage in Nigeria where, musicians and orchestras play music live for movies. But I think we are still a ways off from that. I think we need to first have mixing stages here first. So I figured in the next 5 years, we would have a lot more of those. And then my dream of having a scoring stage where we record film scores from A to Z can actually be realized in Nigeria. Hi, my name is Ava Momoh, and I'm a film composer.